SpongeBob SquarePants is often filled with mindless drama. Scenes of characters such as Patrick and Mr. Krabs, who often get flanderized and made out to be very cartoonish characters, often end with plots that make no sense. But one episode of the modern day that challenges these themes of nonsensical plots is Season 8's Episode 22, Streets. This episode has so many teachable moments and I would like to give my 2 cents on it all. But before we get into the video, make sure you like and subscribe for more content. SpongeBob is a quintessential nice guy. He is so nice that he's often walked all over. But he often takes this to the extreme and comes off as a spineless character, not just because he's an invertebrate animal. However, this concept of extreme niceness and its detriment are explored in depth in this episode. It starts, like most episodes, with SpongeBob and Squidward in the Krusty Krab. Squidward is watching an ad on TV when one about snail bites comes on. In reacting to whether Squidward should change the channel, SpongeBob does this. Note this for the future. After seeing the ad, SpongeBob gets the snail bites for his beloved pet Gary the snail, who instantly loves them and starts to do tricks to get more of it. When the treats inevitably get finished, Gary moves from a lovely pet to an abuser. Why do I think he's an abuser? 3 reasons. 1. He does not consider the feelings of his partner, going ahead to interrupt SpongeBob's sleep to beg for treats, even knowing that SpongeBob has a job that he loves to do and a job which keeps the lights on. 2. He publicly interrupts his partner's life, even though this scene in the end is a bit hilarious.
Gary, what are you doing here? You're causing a scene!
And 3. He makes unreasonable demands and sulks till he gets them done, even ignoring that the snail bites, for example, are out of production. I know Gary is a pet, more like a cat. I don't even know if it's a dog. Sometimes I do think so. But in this world where one can burn wood underwater, it is safe to say that Gary can also be considered a person whose emotions and thoughts can affect the plot and who can be seen here in the role of a human abuser. In the end, SpongeBob comes from the wild goose chase empty-handed as expected, yet Gary keeps sulking and moaning. Like an abuser, Gary does not see SpongeBob's efforts, only wanting what he wants in the end. Here is where we see a well-rounded Patrick Star come to the aid of his friend with good advice. Unlike the factory worker who told SpongeBob it was madness to go through all this pain for a pet, Patrick's advice hits home because it comes from a loving place. He does not just want to lecture his friend about his gross stupidity, but rather, in a more empathetic way, he wants to help SpongeBob overcome his fears and gather courage to tell his pet no for once. In the end, SpongeBob is able to do his assertiveness training with Patrick, and it ends with Patrick running away. Also know this for later. In the end, SpongeBob masters courage and speaks with Gary. By saying no, SpongeBob is able to bring sense to his pet, and the episode ends on a happy note. What I have to say about this episode, though, and the lesson it teaches in assertiveness are threefold and are 3 different points, and I hope these are very helpful. Firstly, seek help. SpongeBob did not seek advice from anyone about his abuse, quote unquote, which is often what people do anyway. But if you feel you are in a job, a relationship, a class, or wherever where someone is abusing you, belittling your efforts, and making unreasonable demands, do try to speak with a parent, a friend, or a counselor. SpongeBob missed out on a lot of productive work at the Krusty Krab and lots of good sleep, all for a wild goose chase. And in many ways, this can also be you, where these sorts of abuse can seep into your family life, your work life, and even your mental health. 2. Do not be rude. Now, SpongeBob was not all that splendid in the episode. He asserted quite rudely to Squidward that he wanted the channel unchanged when the ad came up. Do not be like that, or be like Pam Halpert, who uses assertiveness as an excuse to be a rude person. There are many ways of going about being assertive, and you don't need to necessarily hurt other people's feelings, even though it sometimes and mostly would be the case in the end. You in the end want to do it as politely and as decently as you possibly can. Being assertive is often not in what you say, but what you stand by. If you tell your friends, for example, that you don't want to smoke and they persist, offering you again a cigar, and you then give in and then smoke, for example, you are not being assertive. It's not by you saying no that, or as rudely or as loudly as possible, that makes people know that you have a certain boundary that shouldn't be crossed. By standing by principles and refusing that cigar, for example, you are able to show that you are assertive. And you are able to actually be assertive, not just for the facade or the look of it. 3. Do not expect good results. Yes, the episode ends with SpongeBob quite easily convincing Gary to back down. But that's not how real life often works. People are often going to have Patrick's reaction to your assertiveness, but you still have to stand by your principles. In conclusion, getting rid of abusers and negative Nancy's in your circle is often helpful for your mental health. Make sure to be as polite yet assertive as possible when people cross boundaries. Also, learn to have a positive reaction to people who assert their boundaries. In this modern world where everyone is easily offended, it is quite easy, very easy actually, to always want to bend to everyone's need. But we need to learn, like SpongeBob, to grow a backbone when necessary, because with it, we can stand firm in the midst of adversity and maintain our sanity. Thank you all.